Okay, I can't find it at this time. I'm going to come back as soon as possible and I'll let you know. Okay, so in the sorcerer chart, we just reached 7th level. My charisma was already 19. If I put in an extra boost in there, that would be 8th level. And if I wait until my proficiency is a +4, I could squeak in the same type of DC level at level 9 if I really want to match the same type of spell save level as this thing. And I know that I'm way too low level to handle this, but I went for it anyway. So that's probably not the best way to really suss out if this thing is suitable for your characters. You could try to see if they have the HP to handle it. I mean, worst comes to worst, you have a 10d6 necrotic damage on a successful save. If you make it, if you survive the attunement, that's anywhere between either just 6, the lowest of the range, or as high as 60 HP. And any normal character that is in Dungeons and Dragons, anyone who's a level 10 or down, especially around level 7, that's like a death sentence. You either have a character that's going to drop dead or is going to have a really severe HP loss. And depending how you play your campaign, there may be some shock or other type of condition that you may throw at them as a DM because they attempted to attune and they are hit with this high level of damage. And if we're going with a bell curve here, that's probably roughly 30 ish, maybe a little bit more, like about 35 damage on average for a character to handle if they're successful. And then they have to deal with the sentience of the evil item itself. And sometimes that's going to take a wisdom saving throw to even resist what the wand wants to do. And not counting the failure. The failure is that you become a zombie, which is a insult for any character to be. Once you're a zombie, you're a lower level um, danger. In the Monster Manual book, there's a challenge rating index. They have stuff where they said, oh, you want a generic NPC character? You could have a generic adventuring item. Like, let's say you have a generic druid and it is a HP of 72, etc. It could cast off like 3 spell slots of 2nd level, etc. And it's going to have a challenge rating of 2 for a 4th level spellcaster. So each party member is half the their challenge rating is half their level. So for Lena Inverse, she would be considered a 3.5 challenge rating if you want to go that far. Or if you want to roll down, she's still a challenge rating of 3. Zombies are lower than that. as I go to the word Z for zombies. Your typical zombie is only a quarter of a challenge rating. So here you have an adventurer that's probably going to be around 8th or ninth or 10th. Let's say you have a venturing party member of level 10 that will be a challenge rating of 5. And it's going to be reduced to this mindless zombie that doesn't have any sort of skill upgrades, probably has some magical armor on it, may be able to wield a, weapon of sorts. Except for the one of Orcus, even though it's got bonuses, it's not going to do much because it's not a 10 to it, it's just a mindless zombie. This zombie, it's only a quarter, a 0.25 challenge rating. It's not even a challenge rating of 1. It's just a quarter of a challenge rating of 1. It's a fourth, a 0.25. So when a character dies, quote unquote dies, or is transformed by this one of Orcus, they're going to become a very, very, very minuscule version of themselves and be reduced to this mindless beast. And there's no role playing with it. You can't have your party member roleplay as a zombie if you, unless you really, really want to try to make it work for them. Otherwise, they're going to be so limited. They're going to be absolutely limited with what they can and can't do as a zombie. And they're going to be so reduced, it's not even going to be fun for some of these party members if they don't know what they throw at them. Being in a D&D family, we are able to obtain our own Dungeon and Masters books. We're able to obtain it for ourselves, and we sometimes switch out. So we kind of know what's in these books from time to time if we bother to read them at all. Sometimes we know everything, like my brothers, and some of us are, we kind of learn as we go, like me. My mother did it as a plot device to try to move the story along and see what happens and sit back and watch. But if you're the type of DM that throw this at a very, very low level characters, be prepared. They're not going to enjoy this. I was one. I was the one that I knew what I was getting into. I knew what the character is going to pull, and being the greedy, power hungry character that she is going to give this a shot. Because her level, she just reached an HP of 56 for a level 7 sorcerer. She had a chance to survive. She had a chance to get over this constitution saving throw. It's a DC 17. She had a fairly good constitution for a sorcerer, 16 constitution for her stat. That's a +3. All she had to do is roll a 15 and up, and she might survive the full impact and might be able to obtain this wand of Orcus and keep it for herself. It did not work. Did not work. So if you want to throw this at your party, wait until they are level 13 and up. Wait until your spellcaster is able to meet the same DC spell saving throw as these items. Um, if you know the effect is going to be detrimental, and it will be. It's also one of the most game changing um, plot devices. If you have a plot that deals anything that has nothing to do with undead, nothing to do with the abyss, nothing to do with Orcus or the Forgotten Realms, you may not want to throw this in your thing. And you may not want to dangle this at all anywhere, no matter of all the benefits that's in this book. But you could give it a shot. You could give it a shot and see. And it doesn't hurt to see what had happened. And who knows? They may be able to build it. They may be able to fight off the other party members. They may be able to go on with the plot that you want to do. Maybe this is right up on your alley to guide this party. Maybe the whole plot is about undeath, about dealing with the abyss, about dealing with Orcus, which is not bad. It's very classic. This goes back to the 2.0 or Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with the Death of the Gods, I think that's what it's called, by Monte Cook. And there have been those who had destroyed this wand before in the past. The Paladin King of Dalmara that Artemis and Trari and Jarlaxle had to deal with. He was able to rule over all because he was able to destroy the wand of Orcus and stop the Zinga King and created this awesome, white tree that's very similar to the tree of Gondor from this very, wand. So there are other benefits. We're going into the positive side of it here. If you really, really have a high level party, this is really up in your alley, you're dealing with undeath, you want them to fight Orcus, maybe at some point, or other, abyssal entities. Maybe you're going back in time in the Forgotten Realms and helping this dude deal with this. There are some benefits to this. It is a +3. It's a +3 artifact. You get to deal with this awesome necrotic damage on a hit, like a mace. Um, it's an extra 2d12, which is nice. Um, it has 2 minor beneficial properties, 1 major beneficial property, 2 minor detrimental properties, and 1 major detrimental properties. And the properties of the wand are suppressed until it's in attune to Orcus himself. So these properties won't unleash until it's in Orcus's hands, which is one of those in-game high level, like level 1920 in 5.0. If you're throwing this around in 3.0, this would be like epic tier stuff beyond level 20, all that good juiciness that people love to do in 3.0. Um, there are epic tiers near the very, very top part of level 20. When they were retroacting all the Forgotten Realm characters levels, they put Artemis and Trari and Dritz around like level 15 or so when 5.0 came out. Roughly around there. They're probably at a higher level right now, but that's about it. A bonus will be a +3 bonus to the armor class where you're holding this. You also have 7 charges. While you're holding it, you could use an action and expend one of more to cast the following spells. You could animate dead, you could do blight, you could do circle of death, finger of death, power word kill, or speak with dead. So all of these spells have different charges depending on what you select. Speak with dead is a 1 charge. I think the most one is the power word kill. And all of them have a DC of 18 for the creatures to get over when you cast it against them. So this is a major boon for anyone who is nearing level 15 or up when you are in your campaign party level. You could also call the undead, which is nice for a necromancer, but they're already able to do that as a necromancer. If you do have necromancers in your party, which I would recommend, but that's just me. When you're holding the wand, you can use this action to conjure skeletons and zombies, and you can call as forth as many as you can, dividing 500 HP on each one of them. So a HP of a zombie, which is not much. So you have for your normal zombie an HP of 22. Okay, and you have skeletons HP of 13. So 22, 13, if you're doing a nice mix, you have, if you round down the HP of a skeleton to 12, you have a ratio of 12 to 11 for HP, and you have like 500 to spare. That's a real. So if you have both of them together, you have 25 HP. Oh, I'm sorry. 35 HP for a skeleton zombie combo. It's still a lot. It's more than 10. It's about. Oh, I'm going to have to math. You could have anywhere with 22 ish zombies or about 38 skeletons, or if you do a combo of a skeleton zombie pair, that's about 14 of the skeleton zombie pairs. That's still a huge amount for a character to raise on their own if they're not a necromancer. And you have a very wide berth of where you could unearth these undead, about 300 feet for where you are. And that's a really good distance. That's a entire town if you really want to do that. Or like a battlefield. That's a nice small section of a large battlefield. And of course, it's daily. You can't use this until dawn. While a toon, Orcus, can summon any kind of undead, not just skeletons and zombies. So this is where, if you're playing with God, in a sense, where you are trying to do what Orcus could do, you could only do zombies and skeletons. That is, both of them are a quarter of a challenging ratio, um, challenging grading. Orcus could top that with any sort of undead he wants to raise. He could raise liches, he could raise vampires, he could raise mummies, he could raise whatever he feels like. He could do a Draco Lich, which is a undead dragon, a Draco Lich, if he so desires. You're only hitting the tip of the iceberg, and that's only because the wand wants to give you a taste of power just so you could take it back to its owner. See, the wand's purpose is to help satisfy Orcus's desire to slay everything in the multiverse. The wand is cold, cruel, nihilistic, and bereft of humor. Well, that's a sad way to go in life. In order to further the master's goals, the wand feigns devotion to its current user, makes grandiose promises that it has no intention of fulfilling, such as vowing to help the user to overthrow Orcus. So it's just like the ring, this ring of power from the Lord of the Rings. This is the Forgotten Realms equivalent right here. It wants to go back to its master. It seeks it out. It wants to go back. to bring Orcus into fruition, into this realm, and cause havoc across the plane. It is one with its master, and it calls to it as the master calls to the wand. The wand chooses the user, Potter. I know I'm crossing the streams here, but you get the idea that this is really high epic tier stuff that you don't really want to throw around. Um, if you're a beginning DM, be careful about throwing this type of stuff here. We're able to roll with it as a family. We're able to lock it away safe in some vault or whatever for our main DM's discretion to do whatever they so wish or desire to. Or we could ignore it completely and go on with our adventure. That is entirely possible. But if you are in a serious campaign with serious characters that is not homebrew, that is set in Forgotten Realms or any other plane of existence, because this could fall into any multiverse, anywhere, at any time. This is really meant for the high tier stuff. And you have to be ready for these characters to deal with massive amounts of undead, dealing with Orcus, and dealing with the Abyss. There are benefits, but it's like a necromancer benefits. If you have a character that likes causing dead things to rise, if you have someone that likes to do finger of death, if you like to go around, you know, the killing curse on characters, this is probably right up their alley. But this won't work in a evil party because an evil party, they all want to work for power, or at least they're underlings of a greater power that they want to overthrow. And if any one of these members obtains the Wand of Orcus, they're not going to try to destroy it. They're going to try to take it and claim it as their own. And each member is going to want to go for it and take it down for themselves. And you don't want that. I said that earlier in this video. I'm saying it again. You don't want that. What you want to do is have a party that happens to stumble across this, and you want this party to be willing to try to either destroy the wand or be willing to fight against Orcus himself and back him off into this plane that they're on and try to save the world, so to speak. Because this can happen. You can destroy this wand. There's two options. Um, and they list one option here. Here, they said that you can take it to the positive energy plane by an ancient hero who the skull surmounts it. So, this warrior that the skull was derived on, that's planted into this skeleton or obsidian mount, um, still exists in a way, in its own twisted fashion. The soul is still trapped in there, and you could use this hero or use the positive energy plane to help release this long lost hero that Orcus had fought against. And bathing the wand in positive energy can cause it to crack and explode. But if the hero that was locked inside was restored to life, it will always go back to Orcus. Because this hero soul is what fuels this wand. It's what caused it to perpetuate, it's what caused it to go to other multi universes, it's what drives its power. This poor hero soul is the fuel. It's like this energizer bunny that keeps it going. And by taking to the positive energy plane, you could crack this wand, that soul is released, and you put that soul back into the revived hero. But if the hero is not alive and not revived, it's not going to work, and it's going to go right back to Orcus. It's going to reform there in the abyss, and it's going to come back and go, "Oh hi, I had a nice trip. How was your day at the grocery store? Leeches again? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm just here." That's my take on one of Orcus. Lena did not succeed. She became a zombie. She became a zombie. The party had to take her down, and her soul is reborn into this anime existence that I was inspired and created from. She went to the Spooner continent and continued on adventuring with her friends. Currently, the Wand of Orcus in our campaign is locked into the Adventuring Guild vault, and Ronald is fretting about how to take care of this thing and is researching it to the best of his abilities. Meanwhile, I had to roll up a whole new character, and we continue on with our adventures. So, if you want me to ramble on any sort of lore or artifacts that you know D&D does, let me know down below. What do you want me to ramble on about, um, or want to figure out or unearth? Um, Let me know down below. If you like this type of video, please give me a like. If you don't like this, do go ahead and let me know. I had tried to improve the audio to the best of my abilities. I hope it sounds better. Um, if you want to stay in the know when I upload it, because with today's video, it's late, um, hit that notification bell so that way you know exactly when I uploaded, and that way you could go ahead and click it. Go ahead and subscribe, it's totally free. And I appreciate y'all watching, and I hope this is fun for you guys. Until next time, I'll see you around. Bye.